me and Roger, we two alphas, and we talk. I can't talk to him face to face because I'm mad at him. We might get to fight. Like, you guys don't understand. And, you know, because I'm be in his face yelling at him and shit. And he think he a man. He think he grown. He gonna be yelling at me. He gonna try to back up his thoughts and stuff like that. You know, and I can't. I don't want to go and say. I don't want to go and say everything because it's going to. I don't want to go and say everything. But Roger, he do not like people with him. He dishonored my name, and
But he's still your son.
No, listen. I know he's my son. I'm not cutting him off forever. I just haven't talked to him.
When he gets in the ring and he f***s him up, you can't about it. He f***ed him up because he signed a contract to do that.
It was one of the worst things that I've seen on the internet. You've got this guy. It looks like he was asked into this wrestling sphere. He gets hit in the head with a can. You can't just pummel someone unconscious and then not stop.
Rampage Jackson is still fuming at his son Raja after that shocking in-ring moment last week that nearly left another wrestler deceased.
Are you at all worried about his well-being?
Yeah, it's my son. I am worried about his well-being. How many kids you got?
I got 3.
All right, so why you asking me some stupid ass shit?
Well, can I be real with you?
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would feel like to see my son do that. I also don't think I would cut my son off if he did that. So if you are worried about his well-being, why are you not talking to him?
Because he dishonored my name. And
But he's still your son.
No, listen. I know he's my son. I'm not cutting him off forever. I just haven't talked to him.
The backlash has been intense, and Rampage admits he's just as angry as the fans, saying his own family name has been dragged through the mud. In a tense interview, Rampage revealed he hasn't spoken to his son since the incident.
This is the worst moment of his life. He needs you now more than ever.
No, listen, I talked to him after the shit happened, and he hid the fact that he did this shit, and you know, he put my other kids at danger. I just can't talk to him right now. I just can't. I'm not saying I'm never going to talk to him again. I just can't talk to him right now. I need some time. I'm dealing with his attorneys and all this shit, but I'm very disappointed in Roger. Like, yeah, I'm not a perfect parent, so I don't know what's the protocol to how much time you stop from talking to your son when he fucking goes out there and hurt somebody. He put a guy in a fucking hospital.
Explaining that the whole situation left him heartbroken and embarrassed. Ariel Helwani didn't let him off easy, pressing Rampage about whether shutting his son out is the right move if he truly cares about Raja's well-being.
Think they're going to press charges against him?
I think they should. It was one of the worst things that I've seen on the internet. You've got this guy. It looks like he was asked into this wrestling sphere. He gets hit in the head with a can. You can't just pummel someone unconscious and then not stop. This was an hour after the fact. Even if he got in the ring and knocked the dude out and the dude was unconscious and they walked away, different story. There's no way to excuse that. If the state doesn't prosecute that, that's a malfunction.
Ariel even admitted that no matter how bad his own kid messed up, he would still stand by them.
It's in the ring and he f***s him up. You can't about it. He f***ed him up because he signed a contract to do that.
The whole Rampage Jackson, Rampage Jackson, Sicko Stew situation. What do you think?
Yeah, I've been sending my thoughts to Rampage, about that. And from a professional standpoint, someone who kind of understands a little bit about the WWE type pro wrestling, while it may be a fake thing sometimes, a lot of the pain and brutality and horrific injuries go with that sport hand in hand. So bringing Raja in, who is not a professional wrestler, having him sign papers saying he can go into the ring and do this act, and to make it look violent and as real as possible, and he definitely did that. They continue to play along, tap the guy out while he is unconscious, continued the show.
Rampage pushed back, clarifying he's not cutting ties forever. But in the immediate aftermath, he needed space.
My opinion, and Rampage has said it too. He's like, whatever discipline needs to be done for his son, hope he comes out better on the other side of it, whatever that might be. Yeah, people are gonna crucify me for saying this, but it's like, that's pro wrestling, dude. Like, those guys do some horrific stuff to each other. Razor blades cutting each other, all type of crazy things.
He admitted he did talk to Raja briefly after the fight, but claims Raja lied straight to his face.
think about the follow-up shot specifically? Because look, I'll
Well,
put it
I
like
thought
this.
they were spastic. I thought that there was a lot of it was for entertainment, but a lot of it was for Raja trying to prove a
Just
point.
get his licks, bro. Like,
Get his
I
licks,
saw that
yeah.
he hit him so many times after. I'm like, now this has gone from a misunderstanding or possibly outlashing to
Yes, that's
this
horrible.
this is a crime of some
He
sort.
should have a punishment.
I don't really
But
know.
I think he needs guidance.
It's a horrible situation, man.
But Stu's awake. You know, what's his thoughts on that? Why didn't Raja do anything when the first beer thing happened? That was
See, that's what
assault.
I don't
It
understand.
was out of the show. That was assault. He should have just done it to him then, and then it would have been self-defense. But in a professional ring, at a professional show, a lower class professional show, he's a professional streamer, and they want views, they want clickbait. And he accomplished the mission of having the most viral thing to be talked about. We're still talking about it.
And even risked the safety of his siblings, making it impossible to keep that father-son bond close right now. Rampage stressed he's heartbroken, disappointed, and confused.
That hasn't been arrested?
No, honestly, I'm not surprised that Roger hasn't been arrested. Like, I feel like the police are doing like a deep investigation, because this is not the first time that something like this has happened in pro wrestling. It's not. It is just a high-profile case. I feel like because it was live streamed on a different. It went different than. So let me explain something to you with live streaming. Live streaming, you have people watching your streams just to clip your stuff, to post it on their social medias to go viral, right? So this shit went more viral than if somebody regular was just filming that there with their phone. Like, it's already a community tapped in watching these live streams, so stuff can go viral. And people never seen no shit like that.
Saying he doesn't even know how a parent is supposed to react when their child nearly puts someone in a hospital, calling it the lowest point of his life.
Like Roger snuck into a wrestling ring and came up behind a pro wrestler and beat the fuck out of him. When that part was staged, the part that didn't look staged, it didn't seem staged, that Roger took it too far. But that happens in pro wrestling at the lower levels and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You guys gotta like do your research. Like, it was certain pro wrestlers that did that. They hurt people on purpose. They just did that. You know, and there's hardcore pro wrestling. It's different shit. But Roger know nothing like that. I'm not taking up for my son. Any man that beats somebody like that in the ring, they should face some consequences. But I don't take kindly to people calling my son like a caged animal and say he don't got no undeveloped frontal lobe and stuff like that. I don't take that kindly, because you know anybody in a race can explode when they're pushed. Anybody.
But Ariel kept urging him to reconsider, pointing out that this might be the darkest time Raja will ever face, and that's when a father's support matters most.
Surprised nothing has happened to him? Are you surprised there haven't been any arrests, any charges, anything like that?
No, they can't and they won't make an arrest until Psycho Stu says that wasn't planned. Everybody on the card that night said before the match they're going to beat the hell out of their opponent. Everybody on the card that night, winners and losers, hit their opponent. Everyone on the card that night picked their opponent up, threw him to the ground. The difference was they were performing. What was in their heart was different. It appeared that Raja stopped performing and started to try to injure a man. And that is the difference between the show and a crime. But when I say that's what it appears, only Stu gets to stay. The rest of us are marks. Only Psycho Stu gets to say that, and he has up to 12 months.
Still, Rampage said he has to step back, work with lawyers, and deal with the mess before he can even think about rebuilding trust.
Feeling he might drag this on, but they're not going to go just arrest him because they have a video of a pro wrestling match, and the audience doesn't get to decide what's real and what's not. The audience job is to be entertained and constantly fooled. So they don't actually get to say how bad this was. Only one person does, and that's Stu, and so far, he's remained silent.
Meanwhile, fight commentator Mike Meek didn't hold back either, weighing in on whether Raja should be locked up. He said charges are almost certain, calling it one of the ugliest things he's ever seen online.
Errol, they were very upset, and they were upset that I would be so disgusting as to defend Rampage Jackson and to make an argument that what Raja did was okay. The problem was I don't think any of those things, and I didn't say anything remotely close to that. I tackled this from the same perspective both times, which is the legal perspective. You have this crime. You have a clear assault that might even be attempted murder if you believe it to be premeditated. The authorities are in possession of what you've already deemed is disgusting, horrifying, and criminal, but they haven't taken action. And I explained in both videos why they hadn't taken action. I never even touched on Raja, why he did it, Psycho Stu, what happened to him, never touched it.
Meek explained that getting hit with a can didn't justify pounding a man unconscious and still swinging an hour later. He said if Raja had just knocked the guy down and walked off, maybe it'd be different. But dragging it out like that made it flat out criminal. In his words, if prosecutors don't step in, it'll be a complete failure of the system.
Go to 7-Eleven to a payphone and dime you out. I make a call and I say that I saw you doing that to somebody, you would have been placed in handcuffs. They're a step further in this jurisdiction. They have the tape. They've seen it with their own eyes. They have not even commented that they are investigating it. The whole thing is pro wrestling unless Psycho Stu asks them to take charges. And that is the part that I find interesting. It's all that I ever said. And all the heat came back as though that was a defense of Raja, but it doesn't even include Raja's name for that matter.
Mike Perry jumped in to defend Rampage Jackson after the shocking Psych O incident, saying the whole situation isn't as clear-cut as people think. According to Perry, once Raja signed those papers to step in the ring, things got complicated.
So to tell his part that my son did not sneak up on him, and I never heard him say that. So now I'm upset. Now I'm upset. Now I'm upset with Psycho Stu because he didn't come out and say, "Oh, whoa, yeah, what Roger did was fucked up," but he didn't sneak in the ring and do this. The shit was staged. That's all he had to say to get some of these racist ass motherfuckers out of my DMs. Hey, he's seeing all this shit how it fucking blew up and stuff like that. He should at least said something.
Okay.
Take some accountability. Like honestly, everybody was wrong. Roger was the most wrong. Everybody was wrong, but none of this shit ever would have happened if Psycho Stu never hit my son on the back of the head with a fucking can that they were drinking beer out of, and then grabbed him by the neck, asked him to fucking sell it. If that shit never happened, none of this shit never happened.
He reminded everyone that even though pro wrestling is scripted entertainment, the pain, the brutality, and the injuries are often very real. Perry pointed out that Raja wasn't even a trained wrestler, yet he was still thrown in to make the show look violent and authentic. And in that sense, he delivered the performance they wanted. But the problem came when the act crossed the line, with Raja choking Stu unconscious and tapping him out in front of a stunned crowd. Perry admitted that moment blurred the line between putting on a show and causing real harm. Sharing his personal take, Perry mentioned that even Rampage admitted discipline might help Raja come out stronger in the long run. Perry knew people would drag him for this stance, but he reminded them that pro wrestling has always been filled with extreme, sometimes shocking stunts, everything from razor blade cuts to end-defying falls. In his view, Raja's meltdown was part of that same chaotic culture, even if it went way too far.
Explain to the guy who was going into the ring that, hey, this is a work. This is scripted. You're not actually supposed to try to kill the guy. They failed to do that. What they did was they let him sit there for 2 hours or an hour and read comments from God knows who, 12-year-olds saying, are you really going to do it? You don't have the balls to do it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. Watch me do it. Oh, I'm going to do it until they pull me off of him. I'm going to kill this guy. Dumb. Dumb. GC, what did you think of all?
But Perry didn't let Raja off the hook completely. He admitted those follow-up shots looked wild and reckless, saying that's where things went from a heated moment into something criminal. Perry said Raja deserves punishment, but more than anything, he needs guidance. He questioned why Raja didn't handle it right after the beer can incident, instead waiting to snap during a wrestling event, which made the whole thing look less like self-defense and more like a desperate stunt for viral clicks. Meanwhile, Rampage Jackson admitted he's not shocked Raja hasn't been arrested yet. He explained police are likely digging deeper since wrestling has seen similar dangerous incidents before. But this one exploded online because it was live streamed. With clips going viral in every corner of social media, Rampage said it's impossible to downplay what really happened. Raja jumped in the ring and blindsided a wrestler in cold blood.
Most likely has ended his career, will end up in prison for God knows how long. And so, in my opinion, this is an example of exactly what happens when kids, they lash out. And by kids, I mean adults who are only 25 years of age. Perhaps he's 26. I forget. When you keep on poking the bear, you keep on teasing someone, you keep on belittling them, putting them down, making them feel less than other people. Eventually, you can't handle it and you don't give two Turks about anything. And so, in my opinion, this was a ticking time bomb. Imagine, you're this kid. You have to live up to your dad's reputation. And all he does is make fun of you, put you down, calls you a bitch, pussy. Eventually, what do you think you're going to do when the wrong person pushes you?
While some of Raja's outbursts could be brushed off as part of the act, even insiders admit he crossed a line that small-time wrestling shows rarely ever see. One commentator made it clear he's not excusing Raja at all, saying anyone who attacks like that should face consequences. Still, he pushed back on people calling Raja an animal, reminding fans that anybody can lose control if they feel provoked. Shannon also wasn't shocked Raja hasn't been arrested yet. He explained that cops can't really move until Psych O himself confirms the beatdown wasn't part of the performance. After all, every wrestler that night had agreed to swing, slam, and throw shots as part of the show. The difference? Raja stopped pretending. It looked like he ditched the script and went for real damage, turning entertainment into something criminal. Shannon suggested Psycho Webu might be dragging things out, but stressed that police won't lock Raja up just off viral clips. He said wrestling is built to blur reality for fans, so video alone isn't enough to prove intent. In his view, the only voice that matters here is Psych O's, and so far, he's stayed silent.
This time it went wrong. And so prior to getting in the ring, Raja is streaming saying, I'm going in there and they told me to hit him once, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep on hitting him until everyone pulls me off. And so he jumps in the ring, grabs the guy who's clearly letting him. I mean, we know that if he was actually to be grabbed, he would have done something. He's letting him pick up in the air, he's grabbing his thing, and then he slams him to the ground. Unfortunately, he bangs the back of his head on the drop, and you all know when you get hit in the back of the head, you can go unconscious, it's very dangerous. And so he literally gets knocked out upon landing. Now, in a real fight, if it was UFC, MMA, and so on, once you're unconscious, the fight is over.
At the same time, Shannon fired back at the backlash he's been getting online for even speaking on the mess. He revealed people accused him of defending Raja or trying to justify the attack. He shut that down immediately, saying his take was strictly about the legal side, not personal feelings. He even went as far as saying Raja's assault could be viewed as attempted homicide if prosecutors proved it was premeditated. To drive the point home, Shannon compared it to someone calling the cops from a payphone to report an assault. Normally, an arrest would follow right away. But in this case, even with the footage going viral everywhere, law enforcement hasn't confirmed any charges. Why? Because in the wrestling world, unless Psych O officially presses charges and says it wasn't part of the act, Raja stays in limbo. Shannon made it clear he's not defending Raja, just breaking down how the law works when sports entertainment spins out of control. Rampage Jackson snapped at Psycho Stu after the incident, blasting him for not owning up to his part in the chaos. Rampage argued that none of this would have gone down if Stu hadn't cracked Raja in the back of the head with a can in the first place. In Rampage's eyes, Stu lit the fuse, and now everyone's acting like Raja exploded out of nowhere. On the other hand, Ariel Helwani didn't mince words. He called Raja's outburst a storm of stupidity and said the whole thing was insane. Ariel made it clear Raja should face whatever punishment comes his way, stressing that no arrests have been made yet but labeling the behavior flat out foolish. He also turned the heat on the promotion, ripping them for not making it crystal clear to Raja that the fight was staged. Instead, Ariel claimed Raja got sucked into hours of trash talk online, with kids daring him to prove he's tough, fuel that pushed him right over the edge.
gets up on top and he punches him. That was basically the script. And so at this point, I think there's nothing wrong with this. Hey, it was a script. I didn't notice he was unconscious, and so I hit him. Fine. What about the second punch? The third, the fourth, the 10th, the 20th? What about on number 27, when blood is pouring out of the person's head and he hasn't swung back a single time? Do you not think he would know if somebody is defenseless or not? And so I don't care if the guy deserved it or he didn't deserve it. I don't care about any of that stuff. When the person you're beating up is unconscious and can no longer defend themselves, the fight is over. And if you continue to beat that person up, that's when you're in the wrong, and that's when you go to jail.
Adding to the fallout, Greg Deuce painted an even darker picture, warning that Raja may have just ended his career and could be staring down prison time. Greg explained this was the sad result of years of teasing and humiliation, pointing out that Raja has always lived in Rampage's shadow, even taking shots from his own father. That constant pressure, in Greg's view, turned Raja into a ticking time bomb, just waiting for the wrong shove. Greg even revealed that before the match, Raja had been live streaming, telling viewers he wasn't going to listen to anyone and planned to keep beating on Psycho Stu until people physically pulled him off. And when the bell rang, Stu actually let Raja pick him up in a typical wrestling setup, only for the whole performance to spiral into a full-blown meltdown that no one saw coming. But instead of sticking to the script, Raja slammed Psycho Stu straight to the mat with real force. The thud was brutal. The back of Stu's head smacked the ground so hard that he was knocked out cold on the spot. Greg Doucette called it one of the most reckless things he's seen, stressing how dangerous that impact really was. Greg didn't stop there. He tore into Raja for ignoring the script, which only called for a single punch. Instead, Raja went wild, unleashing over 20 shots on an already unconscious opponent. Greg made it clear, once blood started pouring and Stu stopped throwing anything back, there was no question the fight should have ended. But Raja kept going, crossing the line from performance into straight-up assault. By continuing long past that point, Greg argued, Raja didn't just ruin the show, he put himself on a direct path to jail. The whole thing went from entertainment to criminal territory in a matter of seconds, and now Raja might have to pay the ultimate price for it. That's it for today's video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Raja should be charged? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.